Hey everybody, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to take a look at a cooperative game from Cool Mini or Not, believe it or not. They've started branching out into this kind of card game area, and I'm kind of glad they did because it just takes them away from just being minis. But this is a cooperative card game in which the players are playing in World War I. And they are trying to survive the war, but there are multiple aspects of hardships that are against them, be it shells that are falling, or whistles, alarms that are going off, rain or snow or gas, whatever it might be. They're trying to avoid those, and if too much of it gathers, they are not going to survive. So they need to weather these hardships of war in different missions and survive those missions until they manage to clear all of the hardships from the deck. And peace is found. So, real quick, why don't we take a look at what you get inside of this box? We'll see how the game plays, and we'll come back at the end and get my opinions on the Grizzled. So here you can see Grizzled, or the Grizzled, all set up for a 4-player game. What we've got here is a deck of trial cards that are on top of peace, and you're trying to get rid of these trial cards in order to get to peace. You have another deck of trial cards that are on top of the monument here, and this is basically a game timer. At the end of the round, based on the number of cards in your hand, cards will move from this pile into the trials pile and make it harder for you to end the game. So it's going to add to what you need to get rid of each round based on how many cards are left in players' hands at the end of the round, at a minimum of a certain number. Each player also has their own character. These characters each have a good luck charm that protects them once per round from a single card in the trials area, in the mission. So this one is night. He can remove night. We have rain, we have shells, and we have snow. So each one of these guys has a good luck charm against one of these things. Each player also has 3 withdrawal tiles. One of them will be a left, so it says left on it. One of them will be a right, and then the third one is drawn randomly from the remainder. They can be left, right, or 2 left, or 2 right. This is going to be who they support at the end of the round. Support helping to either restore good luck charms or heal players from hard knocks, which are things that can happen to them throughout the round. You're also going to have a game aid here, and then you're going to have the start player token as well as some speech tokens. Now, at the start of the game, the Grizzled is the player who is the hairiest player, and they are the leader for the first mission. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to have to deal out trial cards. Now, they do this by determining the intensity of the mission. At the beginning of the game, the intensity of the mission is always 3. So each player will get dealt 3 cards from the top of this pile at the start of each round, or at least the start of the first round. In future rounds, you get to decide the intensity, anything from 1 up. But the faster you get rid of cards, in theory, if you can play them, the faster you will win the game, if you win at all, because this is a cooperative game. Once we've established the intensity of the mission, we're going to move on to the actual mission itself. And this is where players are going to be trying to play cards from their hand. Now, each player is going to have a hand of cards, and there are several types of cards in the deck. Really, there's 2 main types. There are threat cards, which look like this, and they will have a series of threats on them. In this case, it's raising the alarm and snow. In this one, it is gas and nighttime. And you'll also see that there's a trap at the bottom of this one, which means that when this card is played out, you have to flip a card from the top of the deck and add it to the mission. Now, when you're playing, you're going to be playing in the mission, and I'm just going to try and free up a little bit of area here so that we can look at what a mission will look like. So let me free up a little area here. On your turn, you have essentially multiple choices of what you can do. You may play a threat card out to the area in front, which is the combined mission. The mission is still running as long as there are not 3 of an identical threat out there. So, for example, as long as there's not 3 whistles, or there's not 3 snow, or there's not 3 masks, or there's not 3 night. The other 2 are going to be rain and shells. So there are 6 total things that you could have 3 of out there. So this is a perfectly legitimate play, and we can move to the next player's turn. On that player's turn, they see that they have 2 hard knocks cards, we'll talk about those in a moment, and 1 threat. This threat is still able to be played, but it's both night and snow. So if we play this out here, we now see that we have 2 snow, we have a whistle or an alarm, and we have a night. That's fine. And we can go to the next player's turn. And you'll see that all they have is snow and whistles. They cannot play this card. If they do, 3 snow, that ends the mission, and that would be bad, and we'll talk about why in just a moment, but you would probably not play this card. They also have a Hard Knocks card. Hard Knocks cards get played with the player on counts towards any of the threats out here while that player is still active. So this would also be a 3rd snow. They can't play this card. Their third card is called Demoralized, and it says when the morale drops, which is at the end of the round, when the morale drops, you flip one extra card, so a minimum of 4. You don't want this to happen either, but sometimes you have no choice because you need to play the card. So he might play Demoralized, and when morale drops, he will flip an extra card. It's just going to happen. We would then move on to the next player. So now you've seen you can play either cards out to the mission, or you can play Hard Knocks cards. And our next player does have viable plays. They could play the second Knight in first Gas Mask, or the second Whistle in first Rain, or they have a hard knock called Prideful, which says you may withdraw if your hand is empty, or if you were the last one still in the mission, but only in those 2 conditions. So they may play this, but then that means they're going to have to either play all of their cards or have everyone else withdraw first. Instead of playing a card, they can choose to do something else. They can choose to use their Good Luck Charm, and if they want to, they would flip this over and they'd be able to get rid of one of the cards showing snow out from the center. So that would make things a little bit easier if they were to get rid of this card out of the game. Now more people can play more things, but their Good Luck Charm is gone. If you do not want to use your Good Luck Charm, you do not want to play a card, and you don't have a speech, which we'll talk about here shortly, you may go ahead and you may withdraw from the battle, or from the combat, or whatever you want to call it, the mission. When you withdraw, you're going to play one of your support tokens out onto your card. And that is going to support one of the other players, either the player to your left or to your right, or if you happen to have the double left or double right, in the case of a 4-player game, across from you, or in more players, just 2 left or 2 right. But supporting is important. Additionally, any of the Hard Knocks cards you have that are out next to your character, for example, if this trauma were out next to the character with adding a snow to the mission, would no longer be counted once you're withdrawn. But you may no longer play cards, and you may no longer affect the mission in any way. The mission will go until either you are successful and everybody decides to withdraw, or the players hit a scenario where they have 3 of the same thing out there. So 3 snow, or 3 shells, or 3 gas masks, and that would be a failure on the mission. If you fail the mission, any cards out in the mission will get placed and shuffled back into the Trials deck, so you didn't do anything successfully. But if you succeed in the mission, you stop before there are 3 matching, you're going to get rid of these cards out of the game. So succeeding is much, much better than failing. In addition, after you're done, if everybody's withdrawn, everyone will reveal their support tiles and pass them to the player that received their support. And the player that got the most support can either restore their Good Luck Charm if it's been used, or get rid of 2 Hard Knocks. Because if you ever have 3 Hard Knocks worth of stuff, you automatically lose as well. And you don't want that to happen either, as long as it's the end of the round. So you can't have more than 3 at the end of the round. It might be more than 4. Now I'm not remembering. It's 4. So it's more than 3. So you can't have 4 Hard Knocks at the end of the round, but you can heal before the round ends. But if somebody gets 4 and they're not healed, they'll lose the game. And everyone loses in that case. So you're going to try and support the people with Hard Knocks so that they can get rid of 2 of them, or so that they can recover their Good Luck Charm and use it in a future round. But they keep all of those tokens, so you'll have to note that eventually you'll have fewer tokens to choose from in further rounds. Then at the end of the round, you're going to total up the number of cards remaining in players' hands. And this is where things get really tricky. So if we had 2, 4, 6, 9 cards remaining in our hand, we would transfer 9 cards from the monument pile onto our peace pile. And now we've actually probably made negative progress in moving forward. So you want to play as many cards from your hand as possible in a round, so that you can empty this pile out and transfer fewer cards from this pile to that. Then you would start another round with the first player passing, and the previous start player, if they're able, getting a speech token. These speech tokens are an extra option on your turn that you can use, discard them out of the game, and you can say that you want each player to discard a specific threat from their hand if they have it. So you could say gas masks, and everybody would look through their hand for gas masks to discard if they have them and get rid of them out of the game. The new round would start with the new leader choosing the intensity of the mission, 1 or higher, dealing out that many cards to each player, and continuing on with another mission of playing cards or using your Good Luck Charm, or withdrawing or using speeches or whatever they want to do in order to try and get rid of the cards in their hand and lower this pile down. You win if you manage to get this pile all the way to 0. Before this timer runs out. So once this timer runs out and the monument is exposed, the game is automatically lost. You will also lose if you ever manage to have somebody with 4 Hard Knocks, and that is Grizzled. And there you have it. That is the Grizzled from Cool Mini or Not. This is a kind of cool little cooperative game. I was originally taught it at Gen Con by a demo minion that should not have been demoing this game because she had no idea how to play. And so when I was taught, I hated it. Hated it, but decided to give it another shot. And I'm glad that I did, because for a cooperative game that's very, very easy to learn and doesn't have a lot of depth to it, it's rather interesting. It's very difficult. I've yet to, I think maybe I won once, but we might have cheated. So without cheating, I definitely haven't won, at least not easily. It was very close. And that's on the easy mode without the traps. With the traps, I haven't even come close, and that just causes you to flip an extra card. So there's multiple different modes, first thing, which make this a nice game for scaling up. Once you do beat the easy mode, you can go on to the hard mode and get trounced by it. But that, to me, is a good indicator of a good cooperative game. You shouldn't win very often. If you do, what's the point? There should be a little bit of luck involved, or maybe a good dose of luck, as well as strategy between the players optimally using all of their abilities and playing the right cards. So overall, I'd say that the simplicity of this, the small box, the kind of cool artwork and theme, and the fun, light, but challenging play make the game interesting. If that sounds good to you, check it out. That's the Grizzled from Cool Mini or Not.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.